When did you first start thinking about skin color, skin pigmentation? I don't mean the fact that you're black. I mean like dark and light black skin.
I guess maybe like in high school more so.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you want me to like keep going?
Yeah, sure. Like what did you think about what?
Well, I say like more so in the black community. It's still like going on now, but like not really. Like it's just like you learn like in history that light skin were more like acceptable, more beautiful than darker skinned women, even though in the end we were both black.
Mm-hmm. When did you first start to have like an idea of like they're different, the colorism? Then we say color. Do you know what colorism is? I mean, can you just say what colorism is?
I guess colorism, like not like the actual definition, but colorism is more so like you have benefits because you're like a lighter skin. Like not exactly that you're white, but just a lighter skin. Period.
Yeah. So in the way it's like, look, skin, not just skin, like pigmentation, right? So all skin, there are reasons why we all have different shades of skin, right? I mean, I can talk about this at another time. I don't want to talk about it right now. But skin pigmentation within particular communities. So in the white community, and what we talk about at the brown community, what we see as the black community. And when we say black community, it's not just there's the sociology of the black community, which is sub-Saharan Africa. But what we see, the darkest skin pigmentation is actually in South Asia, not in Africa, consistently. But it's the idea that there are benefits and detriments that come with shades of skin color. So colorism, right? So it's also what the good things that come with skin. So within the black community, did you grow up in the black community?
No.
What community did you grow up in?
Mine is kind of like half and half. I spent my summers down in North Philly and my school years in Northeast, so white and black, I guess.
Okay. And when did you start having ideas that there were different skin pigmentations in the black community and that they mattered?
Like, what do you mean? Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, like if you were really light-skinned, people would react to you differently than if you were really dark-skinned.
I don't know, like, exactly when. Like, I say, like, maybe middle school, high school. I feel like it's more so, like, when you become, like, attracted to boys. Like, elementary school, you're not really thinking about boys. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's, like, where it is.
So did you notice, then, that people started to kind of separate, like, on skin color? Like, this people with lighter skin, like black and brown people with lighter skin, just... I don't know, people reacted to them in a different way than black and brown people with much darker pigmentation?
I mean, it wasn't really like, oh my God, you're light skinned, like, ew, let me get away from you.
Yeah.
It was just more
like
so like, I don't know, like it just was there. Like we knew that it was there, but it wasn't like kind of like really talked about unless it was brought up on social media like a debate.
Okay, so this is where I want to go. This is perfect, right? It's not where I want to go, but you just opened a door here. It's there. So did you hear what Samira, right? Did you hear what Samira said? It's like it's there. You don't really talk about it. So you didn't talk about it every moment, but it's there. You're aware of it. Like it starts to seep in, right? Like you just start to get aware. And like suddenly, before you know it, it's as though, here, I'm going to do this thing behind you. It's like there are these invisible strings that are coming down for her, on her life, as a woman, as a black woman, and these invisible strings that are taking hold. And they start to grab onto her in different places. And then before we know it, like we all have these things. And before we know it, these strings are the ideas that we get from other people. They're the ideas that we get from our families. They're ideas that we get from people outside of us. And these strings suddenly they're like shaping us. Like we're, I don't know, like puppets in some way, right? Like before you know it, you're being socialized, and socialization is being connected to these invisible strings of culture. Before you know it, you're being shaped by, you have thoughts by, you're thinking about all these things that really aren't part of you, but they are part of you, and you're part of a culture, and you're part of a community. You have siblings who are really who are more lightly pigmented.
No, like they're probably like a shade lighter. Oh, actually, my bad. I have two actually mixed siblings, so yes.
Okay.
My bad, I forgot about them.
Okay. And so, listen, man, take that up with your siblings who you forgot about, right? How did you ever like think about how your life would be different if you're pigmentation? Mind you, by the way, we're talking pigmentation here. So like this is one of those things with me that this skin, right? Like if you put all of us put all our hands up here, this is just skin, right? We politicize skin. And we turn it into this colorism stuff, and then it's, oh my God, we can't talk about it. This is just skin. And what we're doing in this class is we're talking about it. Because we're talking about anything, that just whatever, put it out on the table and talk about it. So did you ever find yourself wondering like, how would my life be different, or how would I think about myself differently if my pigmentation was different?
Yeah.
What'd you think about?
I say like more so in middle school, this more so like personal experience, but I feel like a lot of black girls go through it, especially if they went to a predominantly white school. Like you kind of go through like a phase where you don't really like your skin, you don't really like your hair because everyone around you is white and they have like kind of like less coarse hair and the boys like them, and like it's kind of like just makes you feel like, oh well, am I ugly? Like stuff like that. So I guess like that's more so how I thought about it. But like as I got older, I kind of grew out the phase because I was surrounded around more black people.
Okay. All right. So then we go to this thing over here, right? So follow this just for a second. Let me just like play this out. So in a particular sociological context, you have lots of thoughts about yourself, right? About your acceptance of self, who you are and how you are, and are you good enough? Are you smart enough? Are you pretty enough? All these kinds of things that we have, right? And you're over here in this particular context. And so you have those thoughts. This is the sociological context. And so you have a certain number of thoughts, right? But then when did that start to change?
In 8th grade.
And what happened in 8th grade?
In 8th grade, my hair started falling out, so I was like, okay, I'm not finna be bald-headed. So I kind of like just more so started accepting myself, started wearing my hair more natural. And
wait, your hair started falling off just from treatments and stuff?
Like from straightening it, like to like more so adjust to like what I was surrounded around. So I would like straighten it a lot and stuff, so yeah.
So, Jinfan? Or Ella, do you know what she's talking about when she's talking about straightening her hair? Do you have any idea?
Like in general, like straightening any hair?
No, her hair in particular. Not
no.
like straightening your hair.
No, I've never straightened like someone else's hair except for my own, actually.
So you don't for Samira as a black woman, she's talking about straightening her hair and her hair falling out. You don't have any sense of what she's talking about?
Well, I mean, I know people that like are white who have lost hair, had like severe hair damage from straightening it every day or curling it every day or just heat products in general. Okay. Yep. Jim Fan, do you know? Do you have any sense what she's saying?
Yeah, I'm not very sure.
The treatments and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're not going to talk about it now. Maybe we can come back to it. Someone else can talk about it. Okay, so at that point in time. But listen, the reason I stopped and asked you is because y'all understand, this class is about asking questions. Like at any moment, ask the questions. Like that's what we want to do. And we don't even know what questions we should or could be asking. And so like, this is awesome. Like you say that and I'm like, oh, okay. We could talk. I could talk about it. I could talk about what happened with you, what you went through, how the chemicals affect your hair. I could do all that because this is my job. But we won't do that here, right? Okay, so listen. So then how old were you when you say you changed? You like decided to shift?
I think in 8th grade you're like 14. So 14.
So you decide, all right, I can't do this anymore. And then you started looking in a mirror and you seen who?
Me.
Well, what'd you see? Like who'd you see?
Just like a person that was beautiful, skin was beautiful, like all that.
Like that step.
Yeah.
So in that sense then, right, you, within that context, you're over here and you say, hey, this is the individual, the freedom side. You say, hey, I'm going to make a decision here. I'm tired of this happening to me. I'm tired of feeling bad. I'm tired of my hair falling out. I'm tired of all these things. And I don't want to do that. It's fine for somebody else, but I don't want to do that. And I want to walk up this path, and so I'm going to change the way I think about things, and I'm going to make a decision. It's like, okay, awesome. Yeah. You made that decision within the context. How about like the decision to be like, did you ever go through a period where you wish you had not white skin, just lighter skin?
Maybe, I don't know. To be honest.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was just like so long ago.
It's just one of those things. Uh-huh. Yeah, because I would imagine, given what you just said about hair and stuff, it would be a very similar kind of thing. Yeah. Huh. Awesome, man. Hey, how is it to talk about this, by the way, in front of the class?
It feels normal because last year I wrote like one of my essays about it. Kind of just, I forgot what the essay was about, but I kind of touched on it. So it's normal. I usually talk about it because I don't know. I label it as more so like trauma that I went through, just not accepting myself because of everything else and like some stuff that I didn't touch on too. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's difficult, right, in the community, right? I mean, the colorism is really big. There's colorism everywhere. In China, there's a lot of colorism. I mean, it's everywhere, right? So it takes a lot of work. And so what we don't realize, it's kind of like mental health. You know, at some point in a few weeks, we're going to do a class on mental health, but it's kind of like, we live in the context and the contours of particular sets of ideas, and then we have to navigate it, right? Like we gotta follow this path, and we gotta navigate and feel how we're gonna do this and how we're gonna make sense of it. But like we're living within a collective a series of ideas that can trip us up at any moment, and it's not easy, right? It's not an easy thing to do. So cool, awesome, man.